Hey guys, Greg with btodd.com and btodd TV. In today's stability test, we're going to be taking a closer look at Fully Jarvis Extended Standing Desk with the laminate surface. Now, if you haven't had a chance to watch our stability videos before, what we like to do is look at a standing desk stability at different heights with different weights, seeing how they perform. Now, I highly recommend you check out the video in the top right-hand corner of the screen. This is a closer or deeper look at stability testing, and this will give you an idea why we pick the heights and why we pick the weights and how the tests are performed. If you have seen these videos, you can go ahead and skip that, and we'll just go ahead and jump into this video. Let's go ahead and see how the Jarvis Extended performed with our stability test today. Before we go ahead and jump into the stability test, we're going to talk about what we're going to look at with this desk. Now, these tests can be a little bit different depending on the actual desk's range of motion and how much capacity they can hold. So the Jarvis Extended is able to start around 25 inches with the surface and go up to about 51 inches. So that will be the starting height. We'll also be looking at 39 inches and 42.5 inches. And then because of the capacity being 350 pounds, we'll be looking at 100 pounds, which is set up now, 200 pounds, and then maxing it out at 350. So we've got the desk set at its lowest point. We've got 100 pounds on the surface, with the weight of the surface, of course. We're gonna go ahead and show you what the desk is like at its sitting height. Now this, if you've watched these videos before, even if you haven't, this is the most stable height for almost every single standing desk, with the exception of something like the Bacant. We found that that desk wasn't very great at the lowest point, but that's really one of the only desks like that. Jarvis, rock solid at this height. Now at the next height, 39 inches, we're gonna do the same thing. Let's go ahead and see how it performs wobble first, and then we'll check out rocking. So this is their newest version of their desk. It has the wedges, which we've been saying they should add for quite a long time because the Uplift product has had them the entire time, and you can see it's definitely helped with their desk. If you've watched some of our older videos, even at that height, their desk saw wobble and rocking. Now with this one, you really didn't see any at all. It was nice and solid. We take it up to the 42.5 inch mark with the 100 pounds on the surface. Same thing. Tiny little bit of movement. It's not a lot at all. It's very nice and solid at that point. Now the only thing here is you can see a little bit more motion here front to back rocking. And you can actually see it. You can actually see in the column itself, there's play. And that's where that is really stemming from. Now, if we take this up to its max height, and if you've watched these videos before, this is the least stable for all the standing desks when they're at their max height. You can see I barely grab on here, and you can get it going pretty good. Look at this rocking, same thing. You know, maxed out, it's gonna be its weakest point. This is the least amount of overlap in the columns. But this column down here in particular, you can really see the movement down in here, the play that's in that column. And that's where that motion is stemming from. So, you know, once we got to the 42.5, rocking, or excuse me, wobble was great. The rocking is where you started to see a little bit of motion with the 100 pounds. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it down now, and we're gonna actually jump over to the next test, which is the 200 pound test. For our second test, we've got the desk set to 200 pounds. We're gonna go ahead and run through the wobble and the rocking for the 4 different heights. We'll start at the bottom here, you know, just like the 100 pounds. This thing is rock solid at the bottom, which is to be expected. Really don't have to do much there. When we take it up to 39 inches, which is the average height for women in the United States standing, go ahead and see how it performs here. Really got to get into it to get any kind of movement. It really doesn't move. The wedges help a lot with the frame underneath. Now with the rocking though, this is a different story. You can see that it's even this low, there's definitely movement there. It's not bad, but there's movement there. When we take it up though to that next height, the 42.5, you can see it's still, there's a little bit more movement there, and you can kind of get it going, but it's still really solid. But what I'm more concerned with here is just this front to back rocking motion, because you can see it doesn't really take a ton to kind of get it going. And when we go up to the max height with this 200 pounds on the surface, you're gonna see that rocking motion's gonna be quite a bit more pronounced because it is the weakest point. And there will be more motion here, of course, with the wobble as well. And again, once you get up here, it doesn't really require a lot to get it going. But in those lower mid ranges, wobbling is great on this desk. It's just this rocking that's an issue. You can really see it just kind of originating out of this column. You can actually see if you kind of push on it hard enough, it starts to pick up that front foot too. So the last test we're going to perform is going to be maxed out, and that is 350 pounds. So we're going to show you that here shortly. For our final test, we've got the Fully Jarvis Extended maxed at 350 pounds. You can see a ton of weight on the surface. We're going to go ahead and run through the bottom height first. And like the others, still solid at the bottom. When we go up to 39 inches, this is where we're likely to see some more movement. So now at 39, still actually pretty good here at this height with these wedges. You know, you can get it going, and it'll keep going a little bit there, but that's just, there's a lot of weight on here. If you were to compare this to desks without a traditional cross support, without the wedges, it's much more stable for sure at that 39-inch mark. Now my thing is, with this particular model, is just this front to back rocking. There's definitely some more motion here at that 39 than the wobble. And when we jump up to the 42.5, you'll see that'll continue to get a bit worse. You can see it's a little bit easier to get it wobbling here at this height too, but I mean, I still think it's pretty solid, kind of up the columns at 42.5. But this front to back rocking though, you can see there's quite a bit more movement there with all of the weight on the surface. We'll go to the max height, which is about 51 inches. And this is where you'd expect the desk to be its worst. And that's really what you're gonna get. Unfortunately, it's common with most standing desks, but this front to back rocking motion, again, with all this weight on there, there's quite a bit of movement. You can see it all the way through the columns. So, what do I think about this desk when we compare it to some of the previous versions of the Jarvis Extended? Definitely improvements with that lateral or wobble motion, adding the wedge system. There's significant improvement over their previous versions of the desk. The front to back rocking though, there's definitely more movement there, and it's around that 39-inch mark that you start to notice it, and it gets especially more noticeable as you increase the height and then increase the weight. But overall, if we're comparing this to other desks without traditional cross supports, the wedge system helps a lot. We've been talking about it for a long time with Uplift's product. They didn't have a traditional cross support on their original desk, but they did have the wedge. It helped a lot, especially comparing desks like the Fully to it. Of course, you still need a traditional cross support to be really, really solid, and we've seen that with other desks that we've tested as well. Hopefully this video was helpful, gave you a better idea how the Fully Jarvis Extended would perform with the different weights at the different heights. Will help you selecting your next standing desk. If you did like it, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going through all the desks that we've got here and showing you the same tests with those desks. So if you like this content, subscribe so you don't miss it. Appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.